Detroit. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to my LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube family. How everybody doing today? We getting closer and closer to the end of the year, a brand new 2026, right around the corner. It's just a few weeks before Thanksgiving. I was doing the count. I think it's like 5 weeks before December 4th, which is the start of my 2026 launch blueprint program. And so I was checking out, well, how much more time before then? And I think that's 5 weeks. And that starts December 4th. So the end of the year is like 7, 8 weeks away. Doesn't time fly? So, good morning, everyone, and let me know who's joining, what the weather's like. Hey, Soror Ross, how you doing out there in Extraordinary Women Influences? Girl, I know we missed homecoming. Did you go to homecoming this year? But I know the big time is in March, so I'm looking forward to that. Was that 100 years? Good to see you. Okay, so Karina tells me it's 63 days until the end of the year. Time shouldn't just be going quick like that. Roz, does it seem like yesterday we were online and at Morgan and doing all those wonderful, having all that good time, that wonderful time? So listen, today we're going to be talking about, I'm going to share some stuff with you that nobody told me um, when I hit 50 that was going to happen. But I want to share with you, I do want to say a big shout out to the women at Wayne lead, the book club. Oh, they had me as their guest. Living Life Over 50, they selected this as their book club of the month. And guess who they had right before me? What they were reading right before me, and that was Mel Robbins' book. So I felt real special that then they invited me in, and I was the author who was present and with them. So I just want to do a shout out to Pam and Dawn and all the wonderful, fantastic, exquisite leaders over at Wayne State University who had me in for their book club. It was fantastic. It was a great hour of powerful conversation. And in my book, Living Life Over 50, and that's what we're going to talk about today, but I shared 20 secrets. And so it's on Amazon. And so we had fun talking about some of those secrets, like how fashion matters and to pause daily, and about legacy and finding love again. So those were some great conversations. Hello to everyone. If you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. I want to make sure that everyone can hear me. I also want to do a shout out to the National Entrepreneurs Association. I moderated their collaboration conference, a panel on their collaboration partners with just fantastic business women owners. So I want to send a shout out to my girl Tanya Williams and Angela Moore and Dr. Joyce Suber. It was so great being there with them for that conference. And that was just Friday. We had a good time. So drop me in. Let me know where you're calling in, watching in, calling in. That's radio days. Wherever you are, let me know. Oh, and let me know what the weather's like where you are. Okay. So again, I want to talk with you today about some of the things that no one really told me about living life after 50. And please, any of the comments that you have, put them in the chat. So I'm going to go do some sharing of that, doing some teaching, and then we'll take any comments or questions that you have about this subject that folk always talk to me about. But, nobody told me that when you become a widow at 68, people expected you to stop, just retire, fade away, go out the picture. So nobody told me that was the expectation. And nobody told me that hot flashes didn't care if you in a board meeting or that brain fog in the middle of the presentation makes you question everything you know. And nobody told me that the hardest part of an empty nest isn't missing your kids. It's looking around your house and asking, well, who am I now? Now that I ain't mom, now that I'm not needed the same way. And nobody told me that the loneliest part of leadership isn't making the tough calls, it's having no one at your level to talk to afterward. No peers, no cohort, just you. But here's the thing, what really nobody told me, that the same decade your body is changing is the decade everyone else decides you're past your prime. Hmm. So let me guess. You've done everything right. You've built the career. You earned the credentials. You raised your family. You're respected and capable. And you know what? You keep showing up and delivering. But lately, you're catching yourself wondering, is this really it? Not because you're ungrateful, not because you haven't worked hard, but because something feels, unfinished, like you checked all the boxes, but you lost the spark that made you start. Now, let me just tell you, you're not alone. Right now, you're at a crossroads. You can let other people decide what's appropriate for your age and stage, or you can write your own rule book. Now, the difference between these two paths, that's not luck or privilege, it's a decision. And when you drift without direction, it costs you. You feel stuck. You wonder if your best years are behind you. You see colleagues, perhaps younger colleagues, getting opportunities you know you deserve. You've been invisible in rooms where you used to shine, where you used to walk in and, hey, you were the stuff. The phone calls, your phone ringing off the hook, but now silent. But when you take control, everything changes. You get your energy back, your voice, your sense of what's possible. And you stop shrinking and start designing. Now, I know this because I've lived it. After 40 years of marriage, I became a widow. Now, let me just say, 40 years, that's a long time. I remember my husband and I, we used to, from time to time, look at each other and say, well, it's been 5 years now. And we used to look up what the 5 years meant. Is it paper? Is it this? Is it that? I don't remember those, but we used to look it up. It was fun. 5 years, 7 years, 8 years, 15 years. And then, after a while, we didn't actually look up what the years meant, but we were kind of like looking at each other saying, well, we still together? Because you look and you realize 40 years, that's more than half your lifetime being with someone. Well, when I lost that someone, yeah, I could have stepped back, retired, let that loss define my future. But instead, and it was tough, it was hard, I asked myself one question: what now? Now, that question changed everything. And it led me to help women design what comes next for them and how they can um, design that next instead of accepting what's handed to them. That question got me to saying, well, I've worked years in nonprofits, raised millions of dollars, ran organizations, learned a lot, bunch of failures, okay, hard lessons. I'm going to share all that. I'm just not going to hold that. I'm not going to sit back. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to share that with other younger leaders coming along the way. And so that question about what now was a major one in midlife. And I really want to talk about what midlife really is. And so maybe you wake up thinking you're not where you should be. Maybe you're balancing work or aging parents or being that caregiver you didn't plan for. And maybe you've still got grown kids that you're working with or taking care of, or grandkids or great grandkids. Maybe you're burned out from still proving yourself over and over, yet still being overlooked. Well, here's what I've learned from working with lots of women like you and living the experience myself. This isn't the end. It's a transition into something greater. Now, we've been told what midlife means, and that's slow down, past your prime. That's a lie. Midlife is your wake up call, your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, and beyond. And the more you understand what's changing in your mind, your body, your priorities, the more you understand that, the more power you have to shape what's next. I want you to picture two women, same age, same background. One sees midlife as the beginning of the end. She pulls back, she plays small. She tells herself that her best years, her best times, they be over. The other sees midlife as her next big move. She uses everything she's learned, which is a lot, to build something new, fresh, different. She refuses to fade out. Now, the difference isn't money, it's mindset. And here's another truth: leadership in midlife can be lonely. Now, I'm telling you, for someone who's been into this love affair that I've had with leadership all my life, most of my career, all my life, and I'm in love with it, not just because of the academics. I had my academic training, got my doctorate in it, and I'm not dissing that now. I'm real proud because I am academically prepared. But the real leadership I've lived and experienced has been in the streets. Okay, has been in them boardrooms, in them classrooms, in them organizations, in them tough community meetings, in them grassroots organizations, and the hundreds and hundreds of partnerships that I've worked through. And so, one of the things about leadership is that it can be a lonely thing. But when you get to midlife, that loneliness can be kind of different and special. You're the rock that everyone else leans on. Um, you're the mentor for others, but who mentors you? You make the big calls, but who do you process them with? The women who started with you perhaps have retired or stepped away. Younger colleagues respect you, but don't really relate. So that kind of isolation for some of you may wear you down. And let's be honest, ageism and sexism is real. So you're navigating that every day, both of them. Okay. You're still sharp, you're still strategic, yet people tend to look past you. You've earned your place, but you're feeling you still got to prove it. You get told to slow down when you know you just hitting your stride. When I left my CEO role in my late 60s to start my own business, people asked me all the time, why aren't you retired? Why don't you just go do something else? Go over there and sit down. And what are you doing at this age? Starting your own business? Do you know how risky that is? Do you know how terrifying that is? Why not rest? Mhm. Well, I decided to write my own rule book, and I've been doing that ever since. You have that same power. You can do that too. You can accept what's expected, or you can design what's next. That's what my 2026 launch blueprint is about. It's not about pretending barriers and life circumstances and transitions don't exist. Of course they do. But this is about designing your next anyway, on your own terms. Now, I want to get real, or keep getting real. We all know the advice: eat right, exercise, manage stress. But in midlife, it's not about that perfection anymore. You need energy for what matters. You need the stamina to lead, to love, and still have something left for yourself. And so it's time to stop feeling guilty about rest. High achieving women like us have been trained to wear exhaustion like a badge of honor. Well, that ends here. And it's the same with stress. You don't have to manage it anymore. And I know you're saying, Dr. Geneva, what do you mean? Of course, we've got to manage stress so we don't get stressed out. Well, see, I'm talking about moving from the mindset and the action of managing stress. I'm talking about you've earned the right to remove, reduce, eliminate stress. Okay? So it's a different thing. So I don't want you to take the word manage out your mind. I want you to begin to say, well, I'm removing that. I'm reducing that. I'm eliminating. It's about time. I've earned the right. Look, I'm in my 50s. I'm 60 some. I'm 70 some. You know, I got the right to remove what drains me. The people, the roles, the expectations that no longer fit. You've proven yourself for decades. You don't have to keep proving. And here's the piece that nobody really talks about also when we in after 50s, and that's purpose. Without purpose, life becomes a checklist. With it, life becomes a mission. You know, I learned that one night when I was grieving. I looked at the obituaries of my husband and my parents, and you know, they all passed around the same time. Again, nothing really prepares you for that kind of loss. And it gets us in our 50s and 60s and later. Like, no one prepares us for taking care of parents and the adults and people who took care of us. Okay? It's not really a rule book, playbook for that. No one really teaches us how to deal with the grief and the loss and live on afterwards after we lose these loved ones. And so one night while I was grieving, and this went on for, you know, for years, you know, there's not a timeline on it. But I remember that night so crystal clear when I was looking at the obituaries of my parents and my husband, and I saw that little dash between the dates when they lived, when they passed. And that dash represented everything they lived for. That's how I knew them, in the dash. That's what they mattered, in the dash. That's where their purpose was, and everything they contributed and everything I loved and remembered was in the dash. And that aha moment caused me to say, that's when I decided to live in my dash with purpose. And that's what I want for you. Because your best years, they ain't behind you. They're waiting for you to decide what comes next. So, if you're ready to stop drifting and start designing, that's exactly what we do inside the 2026 launch blueprint. Now, here's what happens. Right now, you might be waking up wondering, is this really it? After 4 sessions with me, you'll wake up knowing exactly what you're building and why it matters. Right now, you might be carrying it all alone, or at least feeling that way. After this, you'll have women, like-minded women around you who understand. Right now, you might be second guessing your value or wondering, can I do those things that I dream about? After joining the 2026 launch blueprint. After this, you're going to trust yourself again. Right now, you might be feeling invisible walking in that room and don't nobody notice you. But after this, you'll walk into any room knowing you still belong there and you own it. So it's 4 sessions, December through January, 90 minutes each. You'll walk in foggy and you'll walk out with a plan for 2026. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is not for women who want to coast. Okay? It's cool. There are other programs for that. This is for women who are ready to design their next steps, their legacy on their own terms, who want to, who said, listen, I really want to write that book, but I don't know how. Or I really want to make that career change. Or I really want to travel more, but I just don't know how to put the pieces together. Or I really need to figure out what my purpose is at this age. What I want to really do. That's what this is for. And so if that's you, I want you to put the word blueprint in the comments, or you can DM me or on the screen are QR codes, and there's a link. It's a link, and we can get started. Because what I want you to understand is that this isn't the end. This is your turning point. So we want to make this next move, this next chapter, the one that, gets you to do your thing, get you to put it in action, take that step. This is no resolution. These aren't resolutions. These are things that you need to do that'll give you the plan, the action steps that you need to take your next step, to figure out what your purpose is, your dash, your design. And so I hope you've thought about and thinking about this conversation about what you can do next, what you could, should, would do next. And I hope this has been helpful for you. I want to make sure that I say hello before we take questions. I see there's a couple of questions. Well, we got lots of comments too. So thank you for the comments. And let me just say hello again to my soror Roz. April, how you doing, girl? Virginia Dean talking about sorors. Oh, the sorors are in the house. How y'all doing? Love you so much. And I see on TikTok, we got a whole bunch of folk real faithful. Gerari, Serena, Pretty Lip, 65. Hi, Winnie Driscoll. Oh, I just see everyone's name. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it so much, and just loving all of you who have decided. LinkedIn user, how you doing? Is that my Dr. Trend? How you doing? Yes, midlife is past your prime is a lie. Okay, and somebody told it. We ain't telling it, but it is. It is a lie, and it's so good to see you. Someone is saying from Johannesburg, South Africa, that it's rainy and overcast, and you're taking a break from the heat. I'm delighted that you decided to take that break with us. Mari, is that you? Good morning. How are you? And Natasha. Yes. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad to see you. I hope I hope this Clue Girl coming in from YouTube. I love it. Good to see you. Now, listen, all of you who have been with me on this lesson, I just want to, oh, thank you, Natasha. Natasha says she loves this. Thank you. Um, I really am hoping that all of you are hearing what I'm saying about life after 50. And we be told different things by different people, etc., but we can control and do our own thing. Okay? Okay. So, all right. So I know there's a couple of questions. Do we have time, Karina, just for maybe one or two? Again, the link for the 2026 launch blueprint is here. You got the QR code. Link is running across the screen. And let me say, I know you're thinking, well, Dr. Geneva, I do want to plan. I do want to, I do want to figure out my 2026, but it's too early. It's too early to be thinking about that. And let me tell you, now this the truth. That time be jumping up on us. And before you know it, that's why I decided to start this earlier. There are several of you who have worked with me one-on-one, and you know that every year near the end of the year, January, I will work with you and what you want to do for the year. Well, this time, and that's one-on-one, and I still do one-on-one work. So any of you who want to work with me one-on-one, just DM me, drop me a note. Best place is LinkedIn, but you can also do that on Facebook. But this year I said, because there were so many women who were asking me for help, they wanted to stop putting together resolutions that, kind of you get all excited about them in January, but then when you turn around in February, they kind of fade out. And so women wanted to know, well, I know you have, proven strategies to keep us focused, keep us going, make our dreams come real. And so many people were asking me, I decided to do it in a group, but I'm keeping it limited, no more than 20. So it'll be intimate, and it'll be a group of like-minded women who are trying to do the same thing you're trying to do. And so I hope you'll think about that, or tell a friend. If you're not interested, it'd be all right. It'd be fine. Again, I am doing this because I trust. At this age, this is pure love. It's pure love and legacy, because I do want to leave my mark, and I do want to have an influence and an impact on other leaders so that they can make a difference. But it's mostly about love and legacy. Okay. Okay. Lots of comments we have here. Okay. So let's take a couple questions, Karina. Let's do this one. What if I'm not ready for a new chapter and just need space to breathe and figure out who I am, girl, or whoever wrote that? That's what you need to do. That's always we're not ready all the time. A lot of times we're just trying to figure it out. We're not sure about what it is we're feeling. But we know it's something. It's a restlessness, or a void feeling, or feeling that something's missing, and we don't yet know that inner voice is telling us it's probably time for some change. We haven't discovered that. We haven't got to that point. That is very natural, and really that's part of the change process. So that's natural and normal, that you're just not sure what you're ready for, and you just need to sit with yourself to figure that out. So first of all, yes, get yourself a space to breathe and take a deep breath and spend that time investing in yourself. And that's one of the reasons. And I invite you to come to, the Launch Blueprint and join that community of women, because it will provide you that space. It will provide you with the strategies, the things you need to think about, the very, very simple yet uh, very powerful questions you need to ask yourself to figure out where you want to go. One of the things I'm doing for those who are joining the blueprint is to provide you access to my library of resources, which include, checklists and tools and things that you can use to help figure that out. Here's the thing. We do know that 2026 is coming. I mean, that's coming. That's for sure. A new year's coming. So the question really isn't, well, I don't know what I want to do. I haven't figured out who I am or what have you. Really, what you want to do, what you don't want to lose out on is another year trying to figure that out. Okay? Come on. You can spend some time figuring that out. That's all right. But then you need to let's move. Let's make something happen, and you can do that. And in the program that I've put together, you'll have plenty of space to breathe, to figure it out. In fact, there's 4 sessions where we're actually taking that time to breathe and figure it out, and then et cetera, and then think about, then put some pieces together, 1 or 2 or 3 steps that you could realistically do, the resources that you need, the timeline, and so that you build up that confidence and you really think about it. So the question isn't, everybody at you where you are. They're not sure. We're not sure. I'm not sure. Now, I want you to know, see, one of the things I think that anybody who's worked with me knows, but let me say this. I'm not up here theorizing with y'all. I have lived every single bit of this and gone through all the failures, gone through, I don't know what I'm doing, who I am. I might be looking cute on that particular day, but inside I'm saying, what am I doing? How am I going? I'm trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to figure it out. And every day. But I know that, first of all, I can figure it out and I can do it. And second of all, I know that there's some proven ways, some things that I've done in the past that have worked, and building on that. And that's what each one of you have. If you in midlife and here listening to my voice, I know you got a testimony. Okay, because you've been tested. Okay. And in those tests are strategies and things that work that got you here. Okay. But what we don't spend enough time doing is recognizing those strengths that we have, that we've already built up. We call them something else, or we forget them, or, oh, I didn't know that I did that. We don't put the value and the worth on them. And what working with me does is help bring that out so that you see it crystal clear. And then you can take that and leverage it into your next. Okay. So, listen, trying to figure it out. Yeah, all of us are going through that every single day. So come on and join us and let's figure this out together. Let's do this together because we can. Okay, so Karina's giving me the signal. All right, I know. So I can do one more. Um, um, uh, on IG, it's the wheel of Kathy, Roxas Realtor, Miss Jay-Z, Dana Bell, Sheila, Peggy, Salma, Sassy, Classy, Smart, and others. Hello. I'm just so glad. I am so glad you all on IG have joined. We have to go through some special hoops to get to stream to IG. And I just love and everything that's wonderful and respectful and grateful to Karina, who does it, who makes it happen. Thank you so much for that. IG. But let me take one more, then we're going to close it out. Love you all so much. Thank you for being here, for spending the time. Oh, okay. Now this is a good one. We're going to do this one. Karine, let's do this one. How do I start dreaming again when I've spent decades just getting things done? Ooh, talk to me. Yes, indeed. Well, first of all, um, you one of the things I just want you to focus on dreaming again, okay? Because that's what keeps your energy up. That's what that's where possibilities lay. When you dream, when you think, when you imagine, let your mind do that. Spend some time, some quiet time, listen to music, go for a walk. And while you're walking or listening to that music, breathe deeply and dream again. Think about you. Sometimes, I know something that I do, I try to think about myself, my younger self. And when we was young, we was going to solve the world riding on that white horse, that charger. Y'all know. Any baby boomers out there, y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay? So it's okay to remember those days. Remember those things you thought about, the ideas that give you goosebumps and reflect on that. Another thing I do is I look at my photo albums. Throughout my life, I've taken photos, and I'll go and I have all these photos and I'll look through them and yeah, remember and dream. It's okay to do that. Um, and then it's time to make a plan. Okay? So it's two steps. Continue to dream. It's all right. Dream, imagine. That's possibilities. Now you want to put those possibilities into action, into practice. Okay? So that's why you need a plan. So dream and a plan. Okay? So keep dreaming. And the question of how do I start dreaming again, you just start dreaming again. You do. Let's not overthink it. Let's not make it a big thing. Let's not get caught up into people telling us that we have no business dreaming after a certain age, that we've passed our prime. See, that's when, because God gave us, the Lord gave us the ability to dream, to see, to create possibilities. Okay. So if you think you can't dream anymore, that's society. That's somebody, that's some story you telling yourself. Forget that story. Change the narrative. Okay. And the decades that you've spent getting things done, listen, let's identify what was important in that. Because if you spend decades doing stuff, that means you've got organizing skills, communication skills, you know how to set priorities, you know how to make things happen. We can go on and on and on. Okay, those are strengths and skills. So you're just going to build on those, move it forward. And, because a dream without a plan is just wishes, which is cool. But if you into making dreams a reality, you need a plan. So come on and join the blueprint and let me help you get that plan. Okay. I think we are there. I think that's all the questions that I can take. And my producer has just said to me, we are out of time. Thank you you just don't know how absolutely delighted and pleased that I am that you've spend some time today with me. I appreciate you. Tell your friends about it. Come on. Every Wednesday I'm going to start doing some more lives and asking you to join me. So on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Extraordinary Women Influencers, TikTok, IG, all of you. Mwah! Big love and kisses to you. And keep dreaming.